We are here with... Do you prefer Dagon or Jason? Am I even saying that right? Dagon?
Dagon is fine, yeah.
It's fine. Nightmare, you want to jump around to the other microphone? That'll be legit.
Okay.
So, we've got a few questions. I should probably play some Inquisition underneath this. Just like, I'm going to fill it out nicely.
Did you just fly in today?
We flew in, was it yesterday? Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Yesterday.
How much of New Zealand have you seen so far yet?
Actually, well, it's hard to give you a number or percentage, but I went for a really good road trip. Really good road trip.
Oh yeah.
Yesterday, yeah, just beautiful. I don't even know the name of the place. One of those somewhere far out by the water, by the ocean.
Oh, that's
Lord of the Rings place. Supposedly they filmed the Valley of Death scene there or something.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Cool.
yeah, that's over in the Wairarapa, right?
Walked up a river.
Ben, come on, you know where this
Probably
is.
a 2-hour walk.
Where were you? Where'd you go?
Yeah,
You was
Good promoter, man.
just sleeping in the
beautiful
back.
place. It was about 2.5 hours out of here,
Cool.
and definitely have a new friend here, and he's awesome. And
Oh yeah, who's
yeah,
that?
and
Someone you met already?
Yeah,
Clayton.
Clayton. Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
I've
Blood of
actually-
the Moon guy.
I've got some Blood of the Moon.
I saw that.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're totally gonna play that. He's
So
a great
he's
guy.
been an awesome host. Yeah, he took me out. Seen some beautiful places.
That's really
Absolutely.
nice. I'm glad.
Yeah.
He plays a really good host to like a bunch of black metal people that come over. So that's really nice. Well, I don't know
Great.
if you describe yourself as black metal. I guess we're going to get that into that now. Someone asked, what are your thoughts on the current state of black metal and metal as a whole? But before we get into that, how do you describe Inquisition? Like, do you describe yourself as a black metal band, as an extreme metal band, a cosmic, satanic black metal? I'm going to leave it up to you, really.
Absolutely. So there are several ways I can answer that.
Because the band's evolved so much as
Yeah.
well, I understand, yeah. So
I can be very analytical person, so I tend to kind of break things down. I tend to split hairs sometimes, but if I were to speaking to, depending who I'm talking to, of course, we're a black metal band. That's how I would first, that would be the umbrella term. I would tell anybody, if somebody were to ask me, like I say, without overanalyzing, if someone said, so you're in a band, what do you perform, what music? I don't say heavy metal. I say we're a black metal band. To quote outsiders.
Right.
The important reason I have behind describing as just simply black metal is because then to quote the outsiders, that leads to the next question. Well, black metal. What is that? And even the immigration officer when I came in, he asked me, so you're in a band and. What music do you play? And I described him in about 2 minutes, let him through what black metal is.
Cool.
But, when you start breaking things down and splitting hairs and you start talking to your diehard fans and they already...
Like who you're talking to right now.
Then you already know, right, that we
Yeah.
play black metal. And it's nice to break it down, go a little deeper and describe within black metal how I relate Inquisition to black metal. But overall, yes, of course, we are a black metal band.
That's cool. You've definitely answered that. So what are your thoughts of the current state of black metal and then metal as a whole, I guess, if you want to segue into that?
So the easy answer, straight to the point, is black metal is in an extremely healthy state.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, some people might ask, what does age have to do with your perspective? Well, I'll tell you, I'm 44 years old. I've lived through multiple waves or even generations of heavy metal music in general. And before hijacking the next question, if it's all about the state of metal in general, I'll tell you right now, I can tell you with full honesty and integrity that black metal is. I will even go as far as saying it's in the healthiest state ever.
Cool.
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
totally
our
agree.
opinion for sure.
Yeah, it's like even like last year, one of the best years for fucking albums, almost all metal, but black metal especially last year.
I think
My
it's
God.
something we talk about, fairly often. Okay, it comes up
The state of it.
fairly regularly. The state of metal.
Fucking state of it.
And just to throw this in there, in case there's listeners out there questioning. And we don't have to have an answer for it right now. But think about it this way: is it the most? Are we in the most important period of black metal ever? Versus, is it the best period ever? And does the most important period mean necessarily that it's the best? So there are some differences. You could say, well, I hate going to this cliche stuff, but did the early Scandinavian influence of black metal, does that still overpower the influence black metal today has? Well, we don't know until 10 years goes by or 15.
Yeah,
but still, I'll tell you right now, it's. I think we're near my favorite period, which is right now.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
Someone asked, how was the gig in Egypt? Were you well received by the fans?
Short answer, it was excellent and very, very well received. I wouldn't mind going a little bit more detail because everybody around the world, bands, they're always going to speak highly of the scene they're playing for. They're always going to say it was great, fans were good, and we had support. But I truly mean that in the most honest way too, because to back that up, think about when maybe New Zealand is still in that phase, which I hope never goes away, but before a scene becomes before a micro scene turns into a macro scene, before the heavy metal turns into a massive macro industry, when there is that level of naiveness, innocence, authenticity, when we always reminiscence at, oh, do you remember when our scene used to be XYZ?
Yeah.
That's where Egypt is right now. They just want killer bands to go there and tear it up on stage. That's where they're at right now.
You definitely recommend to other bands to go to Egypt then?
I do. In the context of music, yes. It's and even as tourists, but it's kind of I'm not going to say it's a dangerous area to go to, but there are some risks right now. They kind of have a little bit of a war being waged against heavy metal right now.
Yeah. Well, so that was actually the second part of that question. It said, did you piss off any religious groups? It was more pointed than that, but I will expand it to just say religious groups.
But I understand the question. Yeah, we did. Yeah, the promoter, he's under magnifying glass right now. And
really?
There's going to be guilt by association. So any band that goes down there, he's a great promoter. He's trying to open up that I don't want to call it a market, but that's what he's trying to do. And it's actually important for this to happen for Europeans, even the growing scene in India, Australia, and New Zealand. Because if Egypt opens up, that's another step for like a world touring band. If you open that market up, then the new promoters in the new scene, which is growing in India, they'll be interested. It would connect with the Egyptian one. Then when promoters here find out a band's going through India,
we can finally grab them.
That's why I'd like to see that open up. But it's an incredible place, and the fans there are diehard. And I don't mean just like Sepultura tried to go there and they canceled their show on them. They actually almost put them in jail when they were in Cairo.
Wow.
But when it comes to black metal, extreme death metal, just cult music in general, they're on par. Egyptians know what's going on. Very obscure scene.
Cool, that's really cool. Hey, our friend Nick, who's actually here in the studio with us, he wanted to ask this question. What advantages does the duo format bring to Inquisition?
Sure. So advantages on one end of the question, I would say, I don't know. I don't know the difference. This is all I know. I've always been in a two-piece my whole life.
Wow.
Do I have common sense to realize there are advantages? Of course. Absolutely. Do I like it this way? I love it. And it's not, and I want to clear this up, it's not based on any odd type of egocentrism or, this is about me. And
sure.
I've never been accused of that. But it's important for me to touch on that because on one end, people may think that if a formula has been applied to music for multiple decades and it works, why am I breaking that chain? And what am I talking about? The formula of at least a 3-piece to about a 5-piece since rock and roll has been around since at least, the 1950s. Okay, so if heavy metal music is really based off of the roots, is rooted in like blues music, jazz music is always you always needed a bass or. Well, I just answered my own question, I guess, which is Inquisition is not really as blues, jazz oriented influence heavy metal anymore. It's almost like this is why I think a lot of black metal bands can get away with breaking some of the rock and roll traditions in a musical aspect, just like in classical music, not everybody has to be a symphony. There are duets, there are trios, there is chamber music.
Right, that's nice.
There is music for 2 violas or violin, viola. Do those instruments possess rooted bass notes in their music? Of course. So what is the advantage of that? The advantage of that is you can explore dynamics. Non-fancy talk would mean you get to explore sounds, let's call it shapes, colors. You're just going to sound different.
Yeah.
You're going to sound different.
Do you think it's helped develop the Inquisition sound to stand out on its own?
It does. I get to focus more on my instrument. Now, think about this. Why are we a 2-piece? Well, because originally I'm just a person that writes music because I love guitar. It wasn't about directing my instrument towards a specific genre of music. It's just I love guitar. And when I was 13 years old and I heard the Young Brothers overdriven guitar amps, I thought, that's what I want to do.
Can I just put this up for a second? So this is like a slow but very dark, like foreboding, riff, right? So, you managed quite well just with the 2 of you. Just got to put that out there.
Oh, thank you. And that's a massive compliment. It's always it's not difficult to answer that. I know why I like it the way I do, and that's kind of what I was going to leave that off on. Is
that's cool.
I just love guitar, and it's a very, very what you can do between a guitar, drums, and vocals. Minimalism at its classic epitome of minimum is maximum. You focus more on what little you have, and you maximize that.
Yeah, definitely maximum. For their minimum, there's so much maximum.
Yeah.
This is true. Well, I'm going to play some more tunes. If you're going to stick around for a while, we'll play some more tunes and then we'll talk a bit more later on.
Sure.
Cool. Hey, this is the Anger Management Show. You're here with Adam, myself, DJ Nightmare 666.
I'm here.
Ben from Valhalla's here. Our friend Nick Pullen's here. And the one and only Jason Dagon of Inquisition answering all of your questions and our questions. And we're listening to some good black metal. Hey, I'm going to play some Bolza.
Bolza.
Yeah. Have you heard of Bolza?
Absolutely.
Oh, sick. You like these guys?
Of course.
Very cool.
In the same way, they got 2 members as well. And that's that minimum is maximum.
Thank you for mentioning that. I'm glad you picked up on that. Excellent Auckland band there, Trepanation. That song was called Rites of Targame. I'm not really sure how to say it. Anyway, hey, we're sitting here with Dagon of Inquisition. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. Very good.
I'm going to put this music back on. Bit of desolate funeral chant below the talking. So, I don't know where everyone else went. They're slowly trickling in. Hey, what up? Hey, buddy.
How you going, mate?
Oh, tremendous.
Excellent.
Hey, so, all right, we got some more questions for you, but we're going to give away some tickets for the show tomorrow night. So, for anyone that's listening, here's the deal, right? You got to go to facebook.com/Anger Management Radio. So, that's the Anger Management Show's Facebook page. You've got to like us, and then you got to get ready to message our page. So, open up the message window, and you got to answer this question from Dagon. And then you could win yourself a ticket. We're going to give away 2. So the first 2 correct answers to the question, they will win tickets for the gig tomorrow night at Valhalla with Vesicant and King and Anno Domini Mortis. So yeah, that's cool. Dagon, you've got a question for the lovely listeners.
Between 1987 and 1989, I had a band. What band was that?
Oh, there you go. You should know this. You'll be able to find it if you don't. But, hopefully the legit fans out there will be answering this real soon. Message the Anger Management Show page right now. Lyrical themes. Can we delve into that?
Anytime.
Cool, man. All right, so there's lots of stuff to cover, really. There's many angles that we could take. from reading lyrics of various albums and that, I mean, you're obviously like a really well researched lyricist, and you delve pretty deeply. You touch on and explore like subjects of, I would say, a cosmic nature that other bands might not touch on. There's definitely stuff that like I'm probably going to ask you about later on when we're not on air, but yeah, like your lyrical inspirations really. It's easy for me to say satanic and cosmic themes, but I want you to, not have any of us putting words in your mouth. And I want you to tell us where the inspiration for a lot of your lyrical themes come from.
So the inspiration primarily comes from what we know today in a modern sense. Normally maybe most people expect me to say something like, well, the primordial forces of nature, the essence of the stars, the beauty that we see before our naked eye. And, it is all that. And that's kind of a given. I mean, of course,
cool.
What we see is beautiful. It's amazing. But what I'm trying to bring into Inquisition, I'm injecting into these albums, is inspired from what... and I don't mean this in a nerdy sense, but what science has taught us today. And not so much in a scholarly, like what we were taught at school or, all that. Of course, it's amazing, and that's super important to know. But books, documentaries, anything I can get my hands on, the internet, whatever, extreme access to all the information we have. And it is that. It is what anything from Hubble telescope, what we've been able to see, everything that we know today in a modern sense, what these amazing modern day wizards are telling us, everything from thermodynamics to the astrophysics to anything that I can attempt to understand.
The tickets are gone, just saying. That's it. 2 answers are in there, and congratulations to Chris McLaughlin, Retro, and Mark Mortensen. You've both got yourselves tickets to see Inquisition tomorrow night.
Fellas.
Congratulations.
Well done, fellas.
That's excellent.
Very well done.
And what was the answer there to that question?
So, really, the inspiration that I draw from is anything, everything I can find out, delve into that science is teaching us today.
Excellent.
We're exploring, deeper and further than ever before to the limits of space. I think, on a side note, I think religion as we know it is definitely pretty soon, relatively speaking, going to be extinguished. I think religion is going to evolve into something. We're going to go back more to the roots of existentialism, philosophy as we knew it before, classic philosophy.
Back to the golden.
Because astronomy is just it's telling us too much that the theists don't want us to know that God is being buried. That whole pantheon of the gods, just like ancient Greek religion, Roman, Egyptology, all that. Not Egyptology, but the Egyptian pantheon, as beautiful as it was, all that died out and later was replaced with modern knowledge, what we know today.
Yeah.
Now, without disrespect to these beautiful mythologies and man's quest to embrace nature without any scientific, knowledge at all, our primordial roots, who we are. Had the telescope never been discovered, for example, what would we know? What we would know is what our intuition or that gut feeling, that connection that we have with the stars without science is still valid, is still needed. It is something we evolved with, we were born with. What's the purpose of it? Well, I won't get into all that, but that is equally important. In other words, we must embrace modern-day science for what it is teaching us. It is the new mythology, but we must also embrace our primordial quest, need, intuition for that spiritual connection.
A greater connection, yeah.
It is important, equally important. So if
cosmic
connection. And I don't want to sound like, for example, those Christian scientists out there that,
for sure, yeah.
that science is simply a tool to explain what God gave us. But let's twist that a little bit, because I think at the end of the day, we're all on the same page. They just, they put Jesus over it. Others will put Thor over it.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, is this an intelligent universe? Again, I don't want to get religious about that either. Personally, to an extent, I think it is. So where does that direct us? Well, there's a writer, Zecharia Sitchin. I love his writing. Some people said he was full of crap. He would exaggerate, but his inspiration, his knowledge was discovering, digging deeper for what the Sumerians had left us, over 7,000 years ago, and Sumerians were always. I'll try and summarize this.
This is what I wanted to talk to you about off air, but if you want to go into it, let's do it.
So the Sumerians, basically in a nutshell, was they did firmly believe that the universe was a living, breathing entity. Of course, the Egyptians believed the same, the Greeks, but the Sumerians really believed it almost in an eerie sense. A lot of parallels today that we know through science. Really, it's almost like one is a very accurate metaphor of the other. Sumerians believed that cosmic bodies were more than a god. They were an actual living, breathing entity. Even though they knew that, for example, a star was a big ball of fire, they knew that. They didn't really necessarily believe it was an entity with feathers and claws, and so when they created images representing these cosmic bodies like that, the Sumerians did know that they were creating these images metaphorically. The Sumerians truly did believe in the universe somewhat in a way as science knows the universe is. Yeah, they knew the stars moved. They knew a lot of things. That we were trying to.
It's fascinating to look at the amount of knowledge that they.
So when you merge these two things, the mythological with the scientific, and you start to look at the similarities, and it just reinforces the fact that the universe is something. Not to sound cliche, but it is something spiritual. What our minds are, the way we think, the way we behave as human beings, is the way the universe behaves.
So you think moving forward for for mankind in general, en masse, organized religion is out, and then a more open-minded, for lack of a better term, spiritual awareness is the way forward. Is going to be the next. The next big thing. Is it
the future for mankind lies in
a better appreciation?
The importance,
those concepts.
I think what astronomy and science in general, biology, that's another one. All these things that were just a basic academic necessity for school for the young generations. In other words, what we were taught in school, we need to go further and deeper, take things further. And once we're out of the academic environment, once we're out of school, I'm not saying we need to be religious about it, but we should embrace it as much as we embrace food or anything else. It's a necessity. The more the average person like myself understands how the universe functions, we will understand a lot more. We won't understand a lot more about ourselves, but I think we'll have a greater appreciation for who we are as human beings versus, we are creatures of God and we're special.
For sure.
Well, we're special, but in a different way.
Cool. That's excellent. No, you've really, you've answered a lot of questions that I had. I want to ask you about, slightly on tangent then, just the state of humanity in general, I guess. Do you watch? Okay, this is really weird. Do you watch reality TV?
Anything bad, I'll also watch.
Did you?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you watch The Osbournes?
I did. I went through that.
Cool. All right. Okay. So the latest.
That was a phase I went through.
The latest.
I tried to understand, make out what he would say, but it was,
oh, Sharon.
Yeah. Accurate. The latest thing is Married at First Sight. Have you seen that?
No.
Oh my God.
Just the title alone,
it's
man,
so
makes
shit.
me not want to go there.
Surely that's extreme too. Yeah. Just get married.
Why do you think that? Since you're going, a bit deeper into things, Why do you think that humanity are more attracted to, shit like that, married at first sight and stuff, rather than... Do you think it's actually a human problem, or do you think it's what's forced upon us actually by media networks and things like that? I mean, do you think... How much hope is there for mankind?
That's what I was worried about before.
Is there hope?
The rise of anti-intellectualism.
Yeah.
How's that going to help going towards the, unification with that spiritual fucking thing?
Are you worried about idiocracy? Like, is that a thing that you are concerned by?
Well, I am, because one of the things that I run into this, and I understand there's, I'm a talker, I'm a thinker, I attempt at times, I want to think that I know what I'm talking about, and I make maximum effort to do so. And as a talker, I can get long-winded, but I don't want to be boring to people. I love conversation.
You're really easy to interview. It's great.
Thank you. But there is a point I'm going to make here, and I've ran into this before. I've had people tell me, don't overthink, or you're analyzing too much. You're too deep of a thinker. And this is where, if I'm at some social gathering, aka party, or I can fit myself into that, but 9 out of 10 times I feel out of place. Because today's, I hope you can make a connection here. I don't know if this has always been a human factor, but my perspective of fun, what is fun to me, to some people is just too deep or too serious or too... what are we fearing by thinking? What are we fearing by philosophizing? Why can't we sit down and have some beers or get wasted and party out and have fun, but also have moments of speaking about interesting things?
Yeah. Philosophize on a social level.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
now,
yeah,
I understand that
now.
maybe... speaking what to some people is too deep or too obscure of topics, or maybe boring. But why is that boring? Why is that a sad thing to talk about? Versus so my point here is reality shows can be a reflection of people's mindset of not wanting to think, not wanting to question things, and just want to sit on the sidelines and observe other people's mundane, I don't know, non-perceived.
So you think it's potentially complacency?
Yeah.
It can be. On the other end, you could say, why do I enjoy what we all enjoy? If I have a long layover or 6 hours for my next flight, why do I get off just sitting there for 5 hours watching people do stuff? Why is that interesting? Yeah. But when I'm watching them do stuff, I'm questioning, why did we evolve this way? Why did we? Yeah. So I don't know. I seriously doubt that people are being Freudian when they're watching a reality show. But on the other end, what bothers me are they in this hypnotic spell of don't think, just kick back and just watch stuff happen that you don't understand, but you're trying to. And
the movements of government.
Yeah, spend that time on
government.
Yeah.
Should we go there? Do you want to go there?
You can go anywhere you want.
Man, do you okay? What's the first thing that comes to your mind when I say Donald Trump?
Decoy.
Oh, okay. Nice. Yep, that's cool. That's a good answer. Interesting. Do you... Nah, I won't go there into it.
Go ahead, spit it out.
Do you... Okay, you know how he just basically said that... He put it out there that Obama and Clinton are the ones that are actually responsible for ISIS, for the proliferation of ISIS in certain areas. Do you agree with his statements? And are you kind of shocked that more people aren't open to the possibility that he's actually right? Just bad decisions that they've made in their political campaigns have actually led to that?
This will answer my own perspective. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not
cool.
religious about this.
I'm just putting it out there.
And I'm not the one creating this perspective, but I did come up with this perspective before I read some people making this point in their blogs. Or from early on, I thought he is a decoy. I thought what I'm thinking now is notice that as he was winning, as his numbers were going up, his statements are becoming less rational as he is winning. It's almost as if he was not supposed to win. He's put in there by the other side.
Yeah.
Now, how would that work? I can't back that up. That's a lot of people in on a plan.
I think there was even like an article, like a Vice article or some shit that said basically like he doesn't want to win. Like
correct.
It's not in his plan.
Well, on the surface, the people that are writing about that, and it's a pretty rational one, is okay. Maybe he's not a decoy. Maybe he really did want to run for president for business reasons, and he's getting, what is it they said? Something like $2 billion in free publicity, and
he's reinforcing his brand. That's what
sure,
I think he's doing.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah, fuck yeah.
So he's going to win even if he loses. Now, the thing to think about is, wait a minute. If this is legitimate, if this presidential campaign is legitimate, if he's not a decoy, I'm wondering what their plan B or plan Z is if he does win. Because if he's planning on not winning, he's going to have to settle, first of all, for a wage that to him is crap. I mean, $500,000 a year for Trump is crap. So he's going to have to settle for that. He's going to have to do a lot of work for a crappy income, for what his income is. His income is pretty big. So
presumably.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to think is, what is his plan if he does win, when in reality we're thinking his mindset is to not win? What's he going to do? So that's why I think the decoy thing, that he's getting desperate, and his advisors are saying, okay, you need, crap needs to hit the fan now. Just spew out anything you can think of.
Yeah,
but you have to lose. In basic English, what I'm trying to say is, all right, man, we have a problem here. You're winning, and so it's kind of like,
what if he does keep winning? And they can't stop it.
Well, think sports.
And the people are like so sick of that shit anyway that they just keep voting for Trump.
Think sports. You think South America, where I grew up, you heard of in the 80s a lot of referees getting shot.
Yeah.
Why? Because these were referees that were bought. So, they're supposed to make the other team lose, and sometimes the referee couldn't do it.
Yeah.
He just couldn't do it. And, team that's supposed to lose didn't lose. And so there's a problem. And I'm wondering if this is something we're dealing with. Like, if he's not supposed to win and he does.
There's a lot of corruption out there.
Then he gets assassinated, then there's the military fucking takeover, then there's the FEMA plan and all that.
I think the joke is on us. I think the U.S., Trump's followers, even the rest of the world, when we're all freaking out over this ridiculous stuff he's saying, what I'd like to tell the majority of people is, I think joke is on you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to say, dude, don't buy into it. It's all part of the game.
Look out behind you.
The guy's probably a genius, really. I mean, you think about it.
Do you have to vote when you, are you going to be home during the elections? Are you going?
No, I'm not voting.
Do you
I'm
vote?
not going to vote.
You're a non-voter.
I'm a registered voter, but I'm not going to vote for what's out there.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, for
No,
sure.
there's zero. I have zero.
Yeah.
Zero interest in every single person.
So you're not like a support the lesser of the evils sort of thing. You're just like, nah.
Well, there was a lesser of the evil. I would say of the two, put a gun to my head, I'm going to vote. I would vote Trump. Believe it or not.
Yeah.
But then I'd like for other people to tell me why they think I should go for Hillary. What's in it for you, and what's in it for me?
Yeah.
So.
Cool. I hope like an interview or two down the line for you, someone talks to you about this.
I mean,
more.
the guy's an asshole, so how can you not want to vote for the guy? So
I back Satan this election.
Oh, such Satan. Hey, cool, man. This has been great. We're listening to the end of this magnificent song, but it's fading out, so I'm going to play Blood of the Moon now. Yes, you've been hanging out with
absolutely
Clayton.
He's some sick stuff, man.
He's got another band called Ritual Abuse. And they're so good,
so
too.
good.
Yeah,
sick.
But very good. Hey, so I'm going to play Blood of the Moon. We're sitting here with Dagon of Inquisition, myself, Adam, and DJ Nightmare 666.
Hello.
You're listening to the Anger Management Show. Here is Desecrate Upon Thee.